Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexis Carter and I make videos about web design and web development. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to get this simple mobile navigation to toggle on and off. If you want to see how to do something like this, then keep watching.
All right, so let's get started. As you can see, I already have some HTML set up. So I'll just go over what I have. I have my fonts imported from Google Fonts. I have my style sheet connected here. And then I have my JavaScript connected at the bottom. And as far as my HTML, it's really simple. I have this nav with the class of primary nav. Inside of that, I have a nav container. And inside my nav container, I have my nav logo, an unordered list with the class of mobile, and list items wrap. I have a links wrapped in list items here, and then I have a button. And you can't see it right now, but I do have a menu icon, which is a little hamburger menu, and it's white right now. That's why you can't see it against the background, but we're going to change that here in a second. So if you want, you can copy this HTML here. And you don't have to use an SVG for this. You can just use a image if you would like. It's still gonna work the same. So let's hop over to my CSS. I have a general reset here, some colors, some variables already set up here, which you can copy if you would like. I have just a utility class that I probably don't need, and just some base styles for my body. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do, this is what I do a lot of the times to help me visualize what I'm actually doing. I'm going to give this primary nav, I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna come to my CSS and I'm just gonna give it a border of let's do 5 pixels, solid, and I'm gonna use my brown color that I have set up already, just so we can see what we're looking at. And it looks good. So next, what I'm going to do is, since everything is inside of my nav container, I'm going to target that next. So I'm going to do nav container. And I'm going to give it a background, but I already gave it a background here. So what I'm going to do is background color is my variable called bgnav. Oops. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a color. I want my text to be the variable of brown. And as you can see, it only changed my logo, but I didn't change my links, but we'll change those here in a second. And you can also see my hamburger menu icon now, since we have this background color on there. And next, what I want is I want my nav container content to spread across the screen. So I'm going to give it a display of flex. Then I'm going to justify content space between. And then I'm going to align the items to the center. Just like that. Okay? And then I'm going to give it a padding on the left and right. So that's padding inline. And I'm going to use my variable called space large, which I believe is 2rem. Space large is 2rem right there. Okay, perfect. And that's looking good so far. Next, I want my logo to be bigger. So I'm going to go back to my index.html and I called it nav logo. So I'm just going to copy that. And I want my font size of my nav logo to be my variable called font size medium. And then I'm going to give it a font weight of my variable font weight medium. There we go. Simple enough. Next, I want my SVG here to be brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to do menu icon, copy that, dot menu icon, fill of brown. Oh, I have to do menu icon path here. There we go, to target my SVG. All right, so that's simple enough. Next, we don't want these nav links up here in the nav container. We want them to appear just down here as we open the nav menu right here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to my mobile menu class, mobile menu, and I'm going to give it a position of absolute. And as you can see, it takes it out of the regular flow. And actually, I'm going to come back up to my nav container. I'm going to give it a position of relative. So now my mobile menu, let's give it a background color of pink, so we can just see it there. And then let's move it down. So from the top, I'm going to say 8 rem. From the top, from the right, I want it to be our spacing large, so it's in line with my hamburger menu and the padding that I added up here. And I'm going to give it a width of 50%. And then I'm going to, let's see what I have here. Since this is a UL, I'm going to give it a list style. List style of none. So I want to hide those bullets. Next, what I'm going to do, it needs some padding on the left and the right. So I'm going to go padding inline. And I'm going to, actually, I'm just going to do padding left. And I'm going to give it my variable of space large. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want my nav to be centered. So what I'm going to do is give it a display of flex. I'm going to do justify content. Oops, no, I'm going to do flex direction of column. Then I'm going to align the items to the center. There we go. And I'm going to give it a gap of my variable called space small and see what that looks like. And I'm going to give it a padding block. So that means padding on the top and the bottom. And I'm going to give that my variable of space large. Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. Next, I want the corners to be rounded, so I'm going to give it a border radius of 1.5 rem. And that's looking good so far. So let's style these nav links that I have here. I'm going to go back up to my base styles. I'm going to go A, color, I want them to brown. And I want the text decoration to be none. And I want the font size of them to be my variable font font size regular. Actually, let's make it medium. There we go. It's looking good so far. So the next thing I want to do is I want to style this contact button. So I'm going to go back to my HTML, copy this class of contact button. I'm going to give it a padding top and bottom of my variable space. Let's try space medium. And then on the sides, I'm going to give it a spacing of space large. And let's just see what that looks like. Okay, it's a little big. So I'm going to go space small here and space medium here. And that looks a lot better. Next, what I'm going to do is give it a background color of my variable brown. And that worked, but now our text disappeared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to say contact button A, because that's a link inside. I'm going to give it a color of my variable yellow. There we go. And then I'm going to come back up here and give this a border radius of my variable called radius pill. And there we go. Now we're almost there. I'm going to come back up to my primary nav and I'm going to, actually I'm just going to delete it. Actually, take that back. I'm going to delete this color and I'm going to give it a padding block of my variable space large. Oops, that's not what I wanted. This should go down here. There we go. That's what I want. Now I could come back and do this in one line. I could do padding var space large by variable. Actually, I could just do space large all around. That's probably what I should do. Okay, and it's looking good so far. And all we need to do is add our background color to the body of the variable that we set up called background page. And there we go. Now we have our menu, it's styled, everything looks good, and now all we need to do is add the functionality to hide and show our menu when we click on this menu icon right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a class called isOpen, and I'm going to make this display a flex. Then I'm going to come back up to my mobile menu. Since we're done styling it, we don't need to see it anymore. I'm going to change this to display of none. And I'm going to reload the page. There we go. Now it disappears. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come over and write some JavaScript. And so I'm going to open my main.js. Oops, hide that. So let's start that over again, and let's go to const nav toggle equals document dot query selector. So we're looking through the document for a class called menu icon, and this is what we're going to click. That's this right here. What we're going to click to open our mobile menu. So I'm going to do const mobile menu equals document dot query selector, and the class is mobile menu. Perfect, simple enough. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an event listener to the navigation tab, the mobile icon right here. That way when we click it, it opens up. So I'm going to do nav toggle dot add event listener. That event is going to be click, and we're going to do comma, do an arrow function. Oops. Inside of that arrow function, we're going to go to the mobile menu, and we're going to add a class list. We're going to toggle the class of is open. And notice here, I don't need the period like I have here because it already knows to look for a class here. So I could just do is open. And let's see if that works. And it works perfectly. So that was really simple. And that's is how you get a simple mobile navigation to work. And that's it. So if you've enjoyed this video, if you got value from it, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.